I like it when it walks right into the conversation. So where you at? You're in the garage.
So I'm in my garage right now.
Are you working with other videographers, photographers as well?
Always.
Always.
It's always important for me to work with other people because as other photographers, videographers grow and get bigger, that they remember on sets that they may need an extra set of hands. They may need another person on a camera.
Co-shoots.
So for me and the progression of my career has always been, as long as I know that I'm good and I network and use my community over competition, that when A, photographer needs help, he'll call me. When B, videographer needs help, he'll call me. When C, videographer can't go to a shoot, he'll call me to come do that shoot.
Yeah.
So for me, it was always community, always. But locally here, man, it's rough to find good people.
Good people to work.
To shoot or work or do anything, right? So you got one of the good ones.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
don't even talk about them.
You got one of the good ones. So for me, I needed to go and be free from Dover because like here, we really don't have a movie scene, so I can't be on movie sets. We don't have a big food scene, so I can't be a food photographer.
That's fair.
You know, I can't be.
I was about to say, don't belittle Delaware too crazy. Yeah, movie scene.
But I love Dover. I love Delaware through and through. That's your spot. That's my spot. I'll never move.
What's the move for you within Delaware?
So for me right now, it's really progressing myself as an individual to be able to move up and down the state. I want to be able to break that barrier that creators have of the bridge. Right, you know, the bridge is a thing I talk about a lot, right? So everybody above the bridge, I'm talking about not the Delaware Memorial, it's the
one after Middletown, yeah.
Right after Middletown.
Yep, Bay Bridge.
The Bay,
this is the Delaware Memorial Bridge,
No, it's not Delaware, it's the
one with the yellow bars.
The one with the yellow bars.
Yeah.
It's the
Delaware Memorial Bridge.
The St. George's Bridge?
St. George's Bridge, is that what it's called?
Yeah, so, yep,
I've always called that the Memorial Bridge.
I just say
or
it's
just the one with the yellow
I just say
balls.
the bridge because people from Delaware know the bridge.
You know the bridge, yeah, the canal, yeah, absolutely.
You know the bridge.
You get past Middletown, you get into, it is a different world up there. You get into Newcastle, Newark, there, all that. Keep going, my bad.
There's the photographers and creators in general, that network of people who are above the bridge never come below the bridge unless they go to the beach.
Sure.
Right? And us here, we look at going above the bridge as like I'm going up top. You know what I mean? We used to say that.
We're going to town, honey.
We're going up top. Like, whoa, we're just going
to the big city tonight.
Yeah, exactly. That's how people treat it. So I want to be able to bring the creators and what we do down here. Yeah. We're just as good, just as talented as the people up north. And I just want to be able to break into that a little bit more to just get some real estate.
Take a little bit. I like real estate.
Then once you get a little, once we get a little bit of that, then everybody else can follow suit.
Absolutely. Who are you, man? Tell the people who J.R. Holden is.
So
give me like a 10-year breakdown.
Okay, 10 years. Okay, so
a little decade.
I graduated. I'm gonna give you the whole thing. Boom. Graduated in Dover High, 2004.
Nice.
I have a
so before the new Dover.
Before the new Dover High.
Dover High School and Casino.
So I graduated 2004. I'm breaking out my age early. I've stayed in Dover my whole career. Moved, did some time in the military. Traveled around a little bit.
What did you do in the military?
Ooh, I was secure. I was in the Air Force for a few years.
I didn't know that.
I try not to say it too loud because I don't want it to be like
I was in the military.
I was in the military.
Yeah, I get that. Because I was guard. I did guard, but I did full-time contracts for like my full 6 out of my 8 years. So I normally do just say Army because, it was Afghanistan, different places, full-time gig. But I don't yell it super heavy too because I'm not in the military anymore. And people wear that badge, dude. And
there's nothing against it.
There's nothing against it, but I'll get into it. I'll get into it first. When I see someone wearing like, oh, I served in the Vietnam War, I'm like, that's great. What else? Like, what else is there to Rick? Just like, what else Charles got going on? Like, I get it. Like, your service and the military today versus then, you're doing so much. Oh my God, the lifestyle was different. You came back from Vietnam War and people were spitting on you. Like, craziness. We should be in debt to them for forever. But it's just weird to me when you got stickers all over your car and the hat and the shirt and the keychain. I'm just like, I'll thank you because you clearly want it.
You clearly did it.
But it makes me a little sad because clearly they, in my opinion, I feel like they never got that next thing in their life to cling to. That camaraderie that comes from the stress and the agony and the chaos of what's going on back then. Like, is there going to be ever a part in my life that ever lives up to the chaos and excitement of that? As terrifying as it
like,
was?
part of me, when I went to the military, I was like, shh, I'm not going to Vietnam. I'm going to the military. I'm going to the military. It's rather chill at this time. It's rather chill.
Yeah, we're not in a peacetime, quote unquote. Haven't been since 01.
You know, so I went in, did my time. I was a cop in the military. So my idea when I went to the military, I was going to go, just check IDs at the gate. You know, that's what I did for a lot of, but shoot.
Hard police work.
There you go.
Yeah. It's an easy job until it's not, though.
Until it's not.
There's been some
until they tell you have to work on Christmas and you have to work on Thanksgiving.
Oh, well, I was talking about when someone like shows up with a weapon or something like that. But yeah, working Christmas sucks too.
I'm talking about working Christmas. Damn, I can't go on Black Friday. Damn.
That was Department of Corrections for me, for sure.
You did that?
A year, yeah. A year, Department of Corrections. That was, but I hear you, like, working those doubles, getting told, hey, you got to work here again, another 8 hours. You were like out in the parking lot about to leave. And man, that was the place that taught me my work environment, because I just gotten out of the military. I was like, oh, what do I do now? And I switched to that reserve side. That was what confirmed for me that the military wasn't a bad experience because of what we were doing, but it was because of the people I was around and working with. Because then when I went to the prison system, I was much more in tune with connecting with the inmates than I was the people I was actually working with. They were the most miserable, negative people. And if you're working that ecosystem for 16 years, I get it.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to be a part of it. But I interrupted you. What's the story going on right now?
So right now I'm on a real journey. It's hard to say. I tell my wife all the time, she's like, what are you doing today? What are you doing today? Like, I just posted a picture. I don't know when this will drop, but I just posted on my feed a picture of Jimmy Choo. I just ended up to be at New York Fashion Bridal Week.
You saw him?
Yeah. I took
Oh, hell yeah.
I have portraits of him.
That's dope.
Adam smiling, like, ching, 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 ching.
That's dope, dude.
Hey, Jimmy, smile for me.
Jimmy, over
Ching,
here,
ching.
Jimmy.
And then I can do that one day. Then I can go do a photo shoot with Jimmy Allen the next day. And then the next day after that, I might go do a backyard
I
wedding.
need Jimmy on here, man.
He'll come.
You got to bring Jimmy through.
Jimmy, you gotta come. Okay, right here.
We were actually trying to think of the other day, like, what's the list of the coolest people currently from Delaware? Because
I don't call myself cool though.
Yeah, but you are. You are. You're dumb cool. You're dumb cool. Because Delaware only has a finite amount of people, just over 1 million. And so obviously this podcast, only people from in mean something to Delaware. And like Aubrey Plaza and Jimmy Allen were like, is there anyone else? Not to say they aren't great. They're incredible, both what they do.
What about the president?
Man, I can't get canceled like in the first 10 episodes. That's got like it's like an episode 120 thing, man. I don't know what I'd say. I don't want to confuse the poor man.
You're right. True.
Politics aside, that man's too old to be making decisions for anybody. If he was running a Burger King, I'd be like, man, is my burger getting made right? Like, and this man runs our country. That's crazy. And then the person who might be taking over office is just as old as him if he stays out of jail, Trump.
That's why I try to stay away from politics.
I do too.
I don't really pay attention to it.
I pay enough to know what's going on.
Same here. Same here.
To know that, like, we're in a world right now where these are the two most qualified people to lead our entire free country.
I think once you get like 60, then you start caring about politics heavy. You're like, my president, because they're going to cut my Social Security. They're going to cut my retirement. They're going to cut my Medicare.
It's all the families that end up getting to that point. You see the Bushes and the Obamas and the Kennedys and the Clintons and just all the way down the line. Like, oh, wait, there's a lot of weirdness and corruption. You see with the Bidens.
Listen.
And what's going on with Ukraine and all that.
As soon as I started watching Scandal, I knew the government was crazy.
Netflix and all those other streaming platforms are bringing light to a lot. To a surprise, like, have you seen the Painkiller documentary on Netflix?
I have.
That's an interesting one. I was sitting there watching it thinking, wow, this is on Netflix.
And you know, I love stories like that. Being a storyteller in the heart, just telling those stories.
But it's sad.
Story. It's sad, but it's real life, you know? There's something that dropped on Netflix, House of Usher.
I've heard about that. What's that about?
Ooh, it's crazy. Some Edgar,
For Usher?
yeah, not
Is it about like Usher?
Not like dancing.
Oh, no.
But it goes on that Painkiller basis, how a family was selling opioids and their family just went down the drain. But yeah, man, those shows are just so.
Are they the ones that like got it started?
No. They just one of the families. It's kind of like one of the Painkiller docs, but just way off, like murder,
Jeez.
spooky shit. Like, it's. Can I cuss on here? Am I allowed to cuss?
At this point, fuck yeah.
It's fucking crazy. Sean's like, damn, I gotta cuss. I gotta beep, 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 beep.
No, it's fine. We're talking the same way normal adults talk. It's fine.
Thank you. Sipping our tea.
Yeah, sipping our tea, our Simply Lemonade monster combination, thanks to this guy. The pre-podcast bartender.
Podcast concoction.
The concoction. So what's the, you said you're on an adventure, you're on a journey. Where's the light at the end of your tunnel right now? It always changes for me, but like.
So for me, one day I can wake up and be like, I want to shoot movies. And the next day I could be like, I want to shoot documentaries. The next day I'll be like, I want to open up a bar.
And you have this talent. I've seen stuff you put out. You do that stuff.
I do this stuff.
You do that stuff. Do you see there's a negative side that comes with spreading yourself through? Because I can see the world where, hey, I'm really good at a lot, so I never get great at anything.
And that's where I kind of am now. Being in a town like we're in, and in the state in general, you have to be able to bounce and do a lot of different things. For me, I've been full-time at doing this. This is the only way I make money. So for me to be, like I said, a food photographer, it's going to be hard for me to make and have a decent earning wage being a food photographer in Delaware. So I do weddings. I'll do a music video. I'll do your birthday party. And that's great in making money, but it's not what I love to do. I do love using a camera. So anytime I can use a camera to make money, I'm at home. You know what I mean? Just like your mom she may hate to cook, but she's good at it, right? So
my mom loves to cook,
my
and
mom
she's great
loves
at
to cook.
it. So that's perfect. Yeah, it's great.
I know.
Has our generation lost the love for cooking?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like
Absolutely.
when we have full-bred children, they're just all going to be eating DoorDash.
They are.
Because I don't know how to cook.
I don't know how to cook.
My wife don't know how to cook.
My wife doesn't. She can cook a little.
A little bit?
A little bit.
Be careful. My wife knows she can't cook.
My wife can cook what she knows how to cook.
Pasta in our house. Yeah. It's pre-prepared.
But it's hard to judge the moms of today to the moms of yesterday.
It's a different world.
Like my girl can't cook. I mean, she can't sew.
Let's talk about the world.
Can't sew.
You didn't have, like, when you reach the age of 15, 16 as a female in this world, as opposed to when our moms came up, there was a world and an option, if you wanted to pursue the world of being the stay-at-home mom, the being the stay-at-home wife, the home kid, if you wanted to. Of course, you're at a stage at that point where you can go and do what you want. But today, I don't know if it's really something you look at as, financially viable to walk through this life by yourself right now. Like, inflation's crazy.
Do you really look at inflation? I mean, I know you probably
week over week.
So, like, for me, I'll be riding in the car with my woman, my wife. She'll look at the gas and be like, it went up 2 cents. I'm like, well, I don't care if it goes up 2 cents because I got to get it anyway.
Yeah, but it's not just gas. It's not just gas. That's the thing about inflation. See, gas moves around with oil prices, and that can shift around with whatever's going on with our foreign policy that's going on with that country. It goes on with obviously the supply of oil that's currently available and the prices being sold at. And there's actually a lot that recently went on with the countries like Russia, China. I can't remember all the other kind of Saudi Arabia's in it. BRICS, where basically they're the new oil distribution society of the world, as far as I understand it, that cut out the U.S. from that circle and cut out our dollar. The dollar used to be traded, or the oil used to be traded in what was called the petrodollar. Now it's being moved around in a Chinese one, and it's not the yen. I can't remember what it's called. It'd be a great time for that, but we don't have it yet. We're gonna have the Rogan shit where you can pull it up online. Just not yet. Not yet. Well, there it is. That is a huge inflationary, I guess, kind of floor under us right now, is the fact that our dollar is now not getting utilized for oil. The dollar that currently is going around, the physical printed dollar, 60% of them were printed in the last 3.5 years. Like, that's wild.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it. 'Cause I use Cash App and Venmo
32% of our entire economy, like a whole GDP, everything was printed, moved around, or made within the last 3.5 years since COVID. Because, Trump initially enacted in that party saying, hey, we're going to print some money for y'all in his last year. Biden kept it going. And every single time they did, I think it ended up being like somewhere close to $6 trillion that was printed for not just checks to go out to us. A lot of it went to banks. A lot of it went to banks to keep them from, yeah, exactly. Because people talk about, oh, well, you know, the banks get all the money. Yeah, but if what happened, what was it, back in April and May when one or two banks started to fall out in Cali? If that happened to Wells Fargo or Citibank, there's an economical shift that happens if that domino starts falling. So they have to. But the problem is now we're in a world where, hey, we need to print all this money to survive. Well, there's two sides to the rubber band. Now we're seeing the pain of it. The thing is, from my angle, is like, where does it stop without something drastic? Because you got people who are in the most debt they've ever been in. It's like $8,000 per person, over $17,000 per household in debt, not including the mortgage or car. You got
how often? Because you run a beautiful business.
How
deep are you really inside people's finances? Like deep.
For like the client to client, like buying a house?
Yeah, like deep.
So we're not deep. So if you're looking to buy a house, a lender's going to look for a few things. They're going to look for your bank statements. They want the last 2 months. So they're going to see the DoorDashes and the OnlyFans subscriptions. They don't care. They're going to verify your income. They're going to see where it's coming from, how much you make it, how often you make it. Like people like independent contractors like you and me, they want like 2 years worth to know, hey, consistently you're making that type of money. Because, you know, for us, it can go 1 year's here, 1 year's here.
That's why I got creators.
Yeah.
Make sure you do your taxes.
Do your taxes.
Yeah.
The third thing, the credit score, they want above it like a 620 credit score. They will look at that. They'll look at what you've missed on payments, what happened in past history, because they want to know, like, is this person going to pay their mortgage? And then savings. They're going to look at how much is in your bank account. Outside of that, everything else is going to be custom. Like if you got a big investment account, they're going to want to see your 401k. Like I said, if you're an independent contractor, they're going to want to know what you do, how consistently you've been doing it. And if you have any money in your account that isn't from your job, like let's say there's like 20 grand shows up in your account every quarter. And we're like, what's that? And if you say, oh, it's none of your business, they're going to say, cool, you're not getting a loan. So you better find out what it is and tell them. But exactly. And we've had, you know, stripper, OnlyFans. I mean, it can even be a bartender. It can even, they makes a lot of money on tips. Like if they're real personable, great at their job, maybe 40% of their money's tips. Yeah. And the thing about that is you get to then decide how much you're claiming. And they ultimately go off that tax statement. They're going to want that too. They're going to want like W-2s, tax statements. But they get into it, not crazy into it. I just tell people you need to make 3 times what your mortgage is. If you're there, you can buy a house. Or at least should look into it.
3 times. Damn. So let me do some math. It's like, nah.
Yeah. $2,000 mortgage makes 6.
Let me do some math.
Yeah.
But
got my simple.
I forget where we were at with it. I love the format of this podcast. It's amazing.
Thank you.
It's great.
We were talking about inflation.
Yeah. So for me,
because here's and not to interrupt. Sorry. Because here's where I'm seeing it is Gen Z. For example, in younger millennial, so like under 32 is kind of where that line is. They represent is somewhere 16% of the United States homeowners. So like next to nothing. If you're under the, you know, from 18 to 32. That number is going to keep going down. Because as of right now, the person who is making, like let's say if you make 48 grand a year, right? If you were 25 years old and you're making 48 grand a year, it's pretty solid, right?
I think that's decent.
That's pretty decent. The problem is with average DTI, which is debt to income, you need to make right now with today's interest rates and home prices, $108,000 a year.
To buy a house?
To buy a house. To buy a house, dude. So even if you
buying a house where?
Here, dog.
In Dover, like over
in Metro New York. There's 2 markets in Metro New York because I connect with a lot of these agents throughout the country and we exchange notes, see what's going to happen. Delaware is a different market from New York. It's different from Chicago, San Francisco. Right now, in 2 markets in New York, you have to make over $412,000 to qualify for their median house. And our median house here in Delaware is sitting like, as a whole for Delaware, we're in like the 360, 370 range. Kent County's in the 335, 345 range, as is Newcastle. Sussex, because of their beach market, they're in like the 420, 430s. They largely moved that number up. But yeah, dog, you got to make a lot of money. Jesus. And the thing about that is if you made that 48 grand per year and you came to me 5 years ago and like, Zach, I'm trying to buy a house. Let's do it. Like, let's do it. Let's make this happen. But that's not happening right now. Income hasn't increased. Like, let's put it this way. So we have an 8% interest rate right now. meaning the average mortgage payment in the country is $2,650. Average. That's wild. All right. If you look then at the last time interest rates were at 8%, right? You go, okay, cool. It was probably crazy, wasn't it? It was 2000. It was 2000, and the average home price now for the country is like 400 something thousand. Then it was 120. So that mortgage payment for now is over $3,000. Back then, it's
Like
just
600,
it's
700.
just under $1,000 with your insurance, taxes, everything included. So same house, same interest rate situation, and you're now saying to that first-time home buyer, because it's ultimately the same house, it's like a little 3-bed, 2-bed ranch, half acre, same house, but now you need to make $3,000 a month, and that's just to keep your living space. You can't go out to eat, no car, no Wi-Fi. You don't even have the money to make your electric bill paid.
That's nuts.
Get your electric. I had a stroke there. I don't know. Make your electric bill paid.
That's nuts.
It is nuts. But I don't see a world where it stops. That's a problem.
So you just see this going up.
Well, so the Fed, how much you know about like Fed, Jerome Powell, all that? So the Fed, which is not even a federal entity, which is crazy, they run, operate, make decisions on how we print and distribute our money. They also determine what the Fed rate is. The Fed rate is the amount that the government charges or this entity charges to basically get money from them. So banks borrow money from the Fed to then lend to us. So whatever they're charging for their money, the banks have to charge a little more.
You have to make it a little bit of cash.
Exactly. That's how they stay operable. And that's why bank failure becomes a more and more prevalent opportunity or a problem when you raise these rates because less people borrow money, which means they're making less. So as it sits right now, the Fed is like, hey, the market's still not
Good.
doing what we want, so we're going to keep making things tough. And that's pretty much what they've said. The problem with it, and that's why I go back to I don't see a world where it shifts, is inflation is what they're trying to get to stop. And all the inflation right now is anchored by housing prices going up. And there's not enough listings or supply. Yeah. Oh my God. We can get on that fight. Yeah.
Still.
Dude, still. Because we don't, anytime a nice home comes on the market, it sells.
Like that.
Yeah. Because there's so many. So not to give another history lesson, but January of 2020, before COVID, back when Australia was on fire, we had 2.5% mortgage interest rates. And everyone and their mom, myself included, was like, yo, come get pre-approved. Like, this is the moment. And they were. Then 2 months later, people were like, don't come in our house. COVID. Another 2 months passed, everyone's like, you can go back in our house now. And all these people who had 2.5%, 3% mortgage interest rates went to go get their pre-approval re-upped, found out the Fed dropped their interest rate to 0, and now they got an even better mortgage. So now people are lining up around blocks. There's 30 offers on properties. So all of a sudden, you see 30 offers on your neighbor's home. What do? You go sell your house for 50 grand more than they did.
And it keeps going and going and going and going.
It kept going and going and going and going for years. And now we have this interest rate that slowed the buyer demand, but the prices are already up here. Nothing's getting them back down outside of a ton of listings. But let me ask you this. If you had a 2% interest rate and you're paying $1,200 a month, and I told you, hey, man.
Never leaving.
Exactly. You're going to die in that thing.
Never leaving.
And that's what I tell people who think the market's going to crash, dog.
I have something like that now. I'm never
You're never leaving because if you left, that home is worth more. You'd make your money, right? You maybe make 80K, 100K. I don't know what it is. We can talk about it, though. We can talk about it, though. You could make your money, and that might be the right choice for some people. But you have to understand, to get that same house, you're going to pay way more than what you paid for that one. And per month, maybe double. It's not going to be a lateral move. It's going to be a weird financial move. And just like you said,
I'm staying forever.
Forever.
That's
a lot of people right now.
That's why I love Dover. I love Delaware. Because I can stay in my little crib.
I thought this was going to be water, and it was simply lemonade. Threw me off for a second.
A little bit of Monster.
Threw me off for a second.
A little bit of Monster. Oh.
Yeah, simply lemonade's not strong, but if you're thinking it's root beer and it's milk, it's just going to be weird. Yeah.
So
Do you go like that when you get milk?
I haven't drank milk.
It's been a long time for me.
In 20 years.
What?
At least 20 years.
Shut up.
Middle school, probably.
Even things with milk product in it? Because I say I don't drink milk.
Sure.
I had a Fairlife protein shake, and I think it's I think this has got milk in it.
You know, just going to go grab a glass of milk like they did in the 50s and 60s. I'm just like drinking milk. Like, I don't know anybody who just drinks. Who just drinks milk?
I used to.
You just drink milk. You'll just go, but I'm thirsty. And you just go into the fridge and grab some milk and drink it.
During the summer, I'd go out, and you know I'm obsessive, and you know I love ball.
Yeah.
So this will make sense to you. I would go outside after school or after whatever like summer care thing I'd
drink milk.
I'd go outside and put up like a good 200 shots.
And drink milk.
And there's nothing I craved more walking back into that house than a nice ice cold glass of milk.
That's outrageous.
It's the whitest thing about me.
It has to be because there's no black people coming inside.
Not one.
We shoot 200 shots outside. We're drinking out the water faucet.
Water
outside,
faucet.
the hose.
Yeah, the hose. Absolutely.
You never played outside and drink out the hose?
Well, there were summers my mom would just like on a Saturday throw us outside, but then lock the back door. Ooh. So yeah, the hose was the only option.
Hose is it.
I asked her actually to hook the hose up to the gallons of milk we had. Turn it on. It's
Milk. I haven't drank milk like in 20 years.
Good for you. Because I shouldn't have been drinking it.
It's probably bad for me.
It's terrible for you. It's awful.
I should be drinking milk daily.
Dairy is terrible for you.
Is it?
Just the way that, well, I don't know if it's milk necessarily that's awful for you, but what we do to it and how we treat the animals prior to, like Purdue, like steroiding up their chicken and stuff like that. Like
I've been inside. I've been inside of chicken factories. This is the things I don't really post. There's a lot of things I do that I don't post.
Okay, so the rest of the podcast, we're just going to ask about the things you haven't posted. So let's start with this chicken
factories, man.
Chicken factory.
I've done chicken factories. I've done funerals.
Why are those in the same category?
Listen, I'm just talking about things that you've never seen on my
Listening tours, chicken factories, funerals, weddings.
Chicken factories, funerals. What else are some terrible things I've done?
Factories. Multiple people have been like, JR, please come
absolutely
document our chicken factory.
Because you know, if one sees one doing it, the other one needs it.
What are you doing?
Filming
like training?
The whole process.
Like, okay.
There's multiple things. So chicken factories love to post internal stuff.
Okay.
So they're like
training.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you make like those corny PR training? Welcome to today's training.
Welcome to Purdue Farms.
Do you say it with that accent so they like it?
Well, we get a voiceover now. Voiceover is so easy now. You get AI to do
Welcome to Purdue Farms.
If you started with that, you would have get 80 black people in there. Whoa, not going in there.
I didn't know this is the Harrington Purdue Farms.
Whoa, this is how the video starts? Nah, we're not going in there. But yeah, chicken factories, funerals. I guess during COVID was a time where like that wasn't so much a thing, but like during COVID, boy, they wanted them funerals filmed. And
I didn't even think about that.
Now I'm not getting right in there. Sorry, I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? It's not me. But we throwing a bunch of cameras in the back, recording and letting go. Sending it to the family in Indonesia, in Japan, in Ghana.
It wasn't because, well, actually it kind of was because of COVID. My grandfather's was live streamed. And they kept the close family up front, and then the guests, it was like a 5-row gap. And there were some people who couldn't come. And it's like, there are people from COVID, and I think we're going to brush this over and forget it almost as a society.
COVID era.
But bro, there are people who their family members died in the hospital and they're told you couldn't go see them.
People got married, couldn't go.
Yep.
Babies were born, couldn't see them.
But funeral, that was one of the bigger events I was a part of where I was like, wow, this is really changing everything. Like you're being told you can't say goodbye to a loved one because we have a flu variant. I don't know.
Too many people in a room.
Speaking of, all those different companies that are like, what was the one that ran Pfizer? Did you see he has a deal with Travis Kelce?
Who doesn't want to deal with Travis Kelce?
They had a deal with Travis Kelce before Taylor Swift, though.
You should try to get him on the show.
He's not from Delaware. Or matters to Delaware. Like if you matter to Delaware, but you're not from here,
there's a lot of Chiefs fans.
Are there a lot of Chiefs fans here? I had that debate on the last podcast.
On a Chiefs fan. I am a Chiefs fan when I have them on my parlay tickets. Can't lie.
You big parlay guy? It makes a Sunday fun.
When it began, I was all in, boy.
Yeah.
I've stopped over the last few years, but I'm right back this year. Something about it.
I get it.
It's a Delaware thing. Because we were like one of the first places to get it besides like your Vegas.
We did get legal sports betting quickly, but you still get, I think they said that I read an article, Delaware is getting the app though soon. Like you're going to be able to like the sports books, like over under.
They're going to make so much money.
Yeah.
So much money.
Absolutely. Well, it's the same reason that I'm fully behind legalizing marijuana.
So am I.
Like it's going to be more for the economy.
It's going to be great for, I don't smoke, but for everyone else, it's going to be great. Why not? Just go into Wawa, be able to get your coffee and some weed. Start your day off, right?
That's so true. It's going to be a weird, I don't know if Wawa is going to be, I think they're trying to treat it, like liquor. Like it's got to be sold at a liquor store. Because I think all these CBD places, we've put 3 different people in CBD stores, like spots within strip malls or stuff like that, because they just want the place and the structure set up for when they can sell weed.
That's why every time I see a new store, I'm like, oh, what's that store? A tobacco shop? Damn it.
Yeah, with all of your tobacco products.
Tobacco place, Jesus Christ. They're just waiting.
But they're only going to give out, I think it's 10 or 12 permits for the whole state. And I think there's 10 or 12 more CBD shops. I think there's like
It's going to be a fight.
It is going to be a fight to who actually gets it. What do you want though for the economy of Delaware? We can all talk about legalizing stuff. What would actually benefit Delaware?
I need a venue, a medium-sized venue.
Yeah, like the Queen, but in Dover.
A little bigger than the Queen.
A little bigger than the Queen?
A little bigger than the Queen.
Let's just put a.
Have you been to a show at the Queen?
A way back. I did go to a show at the Queen.
So I've been to a few shows at the Queen.
It's got 2 rooms, right? It's got like the main stage and then like.
The Queen is just big enough for decently sized acts, but it's also gets cramped really quick.
Jimmy Allen couldn't go there.
He could, but it'd be
with a good cover.
It'd be cramped really quick.
It'd be cramped and it'd be a high cover.
It'd be cramped really quick. I think we need a nice size venue where we can hold a G League team like the Bluecoats, and then throw in a nice concert if we need to, or have a nice size convention.
I don't know why.
For me,
I don't know why we're still running NASCAR races there.
I mean, that place is so big.
It is.
Like, there's nothing else you could do with it. Like, what can you do with all that space? It's too big.
Tear it down.
And do what with it? Like, what would you do with? Well, like, Dover Downs is such a huge place.
Yeah, I mean, I would create an event center. Like when you see the Wachovia Civic Center, it's not that big, but it's pretty big.
It's pretty big. But Dover Downs is some shit.
Bailey's.
Yeah. I still call it Dover. Whoever owns it, it's always going to be Dover Downs.
Mr. Bailey.
Have you met him?
No.
I feel like you would meet him. You're one of those guys who would meet him.
No, he is in the King of Prussia. So the company as a whole is within the same holdings that take on some King of Prussia malls. And there was, and I don't know if it ever went through because I know they did start making some changes, that there was a group that oversaw and led some of the decision-making for a grouping of Atlantic City casinos and hotels to come in and help with them. I know they did give like pretty much every restaurant that wasn't doing well, which was pretty much all of them, the notice to leave, and they quickly replaced it with like the Krabby Patty place, the whatever. They got like Blue Burgers and shit.
Crab du Jour is one of them type of places.
Maybe Crab du Jour. It's the one in the back, the one that Kim Kardashian and Drake like. What am I talking about? Sugar Shack? Sugar Factory. Yeah.
There it is.
Reminds me of that episode of SpongeBob where they had like the pretty patties. They're all different colors. Remember that? That's what I think of when I think of that.
But yeah, Delaware needs something of that. And I'm just being selfish because I would look for a nice act to go.
That's not selfish because if Drake comes in and 20,000 people follow, that's good for the local economy. That's good for the hotels. It's good for the restaurants. It's good for everything. And it especially is better than beach traffic. I'd much rather a random Thursday night be caught up down here than every damn Wednesday.
You hate beach traffic?
No, I don't hate beach traffic. I just think it's better than beach traffic because beach traffic can be in traffic. Depends on when you're driving.
New York City traffic's terrible.
Sure, but if you're but even with New York City traffic, the same way you can strategize. You can go to the subway. You can walk. You can take one of the electric scooters. For Delaware, you need to know, I don't go down there Friday evening or Saturday morning. You just don't. And you don't go north Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, that's true.
If you just don't do those things.
Or you do Route 9.
Or they're catching on.
They are.
They're catching on.
It's rough.
Route 113 used to be the wave. Canterbury Road used to be the wave. I used to shoot all the way down 13 and then cut all the way over.
They go right through there.
They know it now.
They do. It's Waze.
Whenever Route 1 has traffic, it used to always be easy. Oh, let me go to Canterbury. And now anytime there's Route 1 traffic, there's like so many people in Kennemer. I'm like, where did you guys find out? It's like all these New York license places, New Jersey. I'm like, who told you?
Man, Waze, this is a shameless plug. Waze is my go-to for directions. I don't use Apple Maps. I don't use Google Maps. It's Waze, baby.
Apple Maps is so much better. Apple Maps is everything, and it's more convenient. And Siri likes it.
Waze, I just love Waze. Be like, oh, take this right here. Whoa, where am I going down this dirt road? Whoa, oh, I'll pop right out. Oh.
That's what I like about my Apple Maps. It's just like, hey, man, this is the route. It's always been the route. It's probably still the route.
Yeah, that's what I think. We need a nice-sized event center.
Weren't they talking about like an arena football team back where that Sam's Club were?
It's been in the mix for how many years?
They've talked about
15 years.
They've talked about like the Woodlands area getting they've talked about a bunch of stuff. The parking lot for the Dover Mall getting turned into more because they don't park as much.
It's rough.
What
do you think they should do with the mall?
That's a good question. I know why it stays where it's at because empty spots for taxes. If you are a landlord in the commercial space,
you're good.
Yeah, you make your tax benefits back so much it really doesn't stress you out too much. So I know why it's empty. The other side is it does have 2 or 3 pretty strong anchors. Dick's Sporting Goods,
Always,
JCPenney's and that. Like those are strong, doing well and keeping it open. Until that formula changes, I don't know what will happen. What I think should happen is it just gets revitalized. Christiana Mall does exceptionally well. And it's not near even the bigger populace of Newcastle. Most people from Newcastle have to still put in a decent drive to get to the Christiana Mall. True. Even if you live 5 minutes as the bird flies, you got to go off this exit and over around here, and then you got to find parking. You can't tell me that when you pass that Christiana Mall every single weekend, and it is packed. I mean, a 1.5 mile of cars.
Always.
You can't tell me 10% of that group wouldn't go to Dover Mall if it was even half as valuable.
The people who live in Middletown will come.
Maybe. They would be the ones on the fence. Me and Milford, easy.
Yeah.
Easy. But the other problem comes up with the fact that any investor looking at that opportunity is also thinking about Amazon and Target and all these other places going online. Do I want to put $5 million, $10 million into revitalizing this mall?
Moms love Target, man.
You know what's funny? I was walking through Target.
Love Target.
You're right. I was walking through Target and they literally had the new Taylor Swift album on repeat
right in
on
the
their
front
soundtrack. Well, it was playing. It was in the front. And it was playing.
Moms love Target. No matter where Target goes, moms will go.
Why is that? What they do?
I love Target too.
What they do?
I can't lie.
My daughter,
moms and JR love Target.
My daughter goes to little school over there near Walker Road in Dover, the kids' cottage, and we drive by Target every morning to school. And every time we pass it, hi Target. Like man, they got you in a branding.
It's like Target, Chick-fil-A, and Wawa. Man, they're just.
I used to put Subway in that category too with their branding.
Subway, yikes!
Yeah, just in like they had great branding, man.
They did have great branding.
You thought subs were fresh and healthy. If Jared could do it, I could do it.
I could do it. But you know,
you need to eat this foot long of bread and all this processed meat, and you're gonna get skinny.
Listen, Chick-fil-A, Wawa, and Target are like,
but Wawa's
soccer
like
moms love.
That's the local option. Have you been out of the Delaware area and had to find like the regions that region's Wawa?
Sheetz is fire.
It's got a Sheetz.
Where's their Sheetz?
We're getting one up in Newcastle.
Oh, see that's
the battle's begun.
Sheetz, I would say.
Don't say it.
Sheetz.
Don't do it.
For everything.
Stop.
But coffee.
That's still a bad take.
Sheetz is fire.
But it's not better than Wawa.
Ah, man.
I've been to these, man.
I don't know, man.
Stop and shop in like the Midwest area.
Check and go.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
It's Wawa. Rural Farms. It's Wawa.
Royal Farms is.
I went down to Fort Myers, Florida. They just got like a Wawa within the last year and a half.
There's
and just everybody's like, we have Wawa.
Wawa's everywhere down there.
The person checking me in was like, you guys have Wawas up there. We just got a Wawa. I'm like, it's a gas station, but their branding is so good.
Wawa
It's a gas station. It's a convenience store.
Wawa is amazing.
Branding's been fantastic.
It's like I've been stuck on Wawa since they were open 24/7.
They comment on our stuff when we bring them up. Ooh. We brought them up before on different clips.
Wawa.
Need a partnership deal.
Been using you since
I tell you what, if somebody that has the pull for Wawa is listening, they have a large audience of people that know their name, and their content creation is kind of still in that 2014 world. It hasn't really adapted. I think there's a lot of ways.
Do they need content creation?
I think they do.
I don't think. Well, they do.
Everybody needs
They do. But places like that are just still so old school. Like, we don't need it because we are so big that people are just going to come there.
And the people in charge of those ads who are asking the marketing person, hey, how are things going? They want a call to action. How much money did I spend? How much money did I make? And marketing, just content creation doesn't work that way.
Listen, I love marketing. I love content creation. Everyone should have marketing and content creation, even at the lowest of scale.
I know why, but why?
Pulling this out and just doing this is just love. It's easy. You need content creation to get your brand, and everybody has a brand if they do something, out to the public, right? It doesn't have to be the big cameras. It's literally just showing people what you do, when you do it, how you do it. That's a really big part of getting your brand identity out there. So, hey, Sally loves beer and she loves horseback riding. So if I love beer and I love horseback riding and Sally's showing me that and Sally sells, I don't know, a belt, I'm going to go buy. That
holds your beer while you're horse riding.
I'm going to go buy it because Sally has everything that I love, right? So like.
Sally is my people.
And you got to show what you do, what you sell all the time.
Yep.
All the time.
And I think the beautiful part of content creation is we're moving closer to a world where everybody's creating so much that you have to go so granular, so hyper niche to get the people interested. Because if you just, like, let's say you sold a belt that held your beer while you were horseback riding, you only talking about horseback riding ain't gonna sell your product.
Nope.
You only talking about beer ain't gonna sell your product. Probably you not talking a little bit about your personality and what led you to ever thinking I should drink on this horse. Probably isn't gonna help either.
Do all of that.
You got to do all of it. It's the story around what led you to it, what you are. People buy things just to support the message and story behind your brand. You know, people stopped buying from Adidas when they let go of Kanye. You know, people buy and don't buy emotionally
all the time.
It's. I think people would be very, myself included, would be very, very off-put if they were. Don't touch my leg.
I did.
It was nice. if they were truly shown a graph of the purchases they made and how much of it was due to financial deliberation and logical thought versus emotion.
All the time.
I think it would be jarring how much is made by emotion.
I bought a camera a couple weeks ago purely based off emotion.
Which emotion?
I've always wanted this camera.
Just excitement.
For like years.
That's the dumb part about content and marketing. So hear me out, dude, because we're both in that same boat of, you know, we're a real estate company, but we're also a marketing company. We're a media company almost first. Tech is like one of the only things that still gives me that like 12-year-old Christmas.
Same here.
Just like the unboxing. I'm sitting there reading the description and the different ways I can use it and different things I can download to accompany with it.
It's just shameless, but half of my day, not half of it, a good portion of my day
just reading boxes and unboxing
is watching YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And just seeing people's reviews, reading descriptions, looking at how they're using it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, hold on.
Yeah. And so many.
Watch this. All right, next one.
You know what, that's another thing with content is so many people are, and that's where Wawa, so that's the connection. So where Wawa is still in is like, hey, let's present our product, let's tell them why it's good, and hopefully they buy it. Whereas a lot of companies are moving forward in content creation, realizing that purchasing power and the emotion that drives the purchase is when someone like me is telling me this is for me, and that person unboxing, you follow them.
Absolutely.
There's a reason you're following them. Their business is similar, their needs, their wants, their behaviors, you've noticed have similarities. So what they want, you probably want. And those companies getting with those companies and saying, hey, I need you to review my camera, know that you emotionally are more leaning towards buying that camera based off
It's
that.
so true. It's so sad.
It is sad. It is sad. It's sad when you break it down like
It's really
that.
sad,
It
like,
is.
damn,
But
whatever he
that's-
says I buy,
but-
I'm gonna buy.
But that's where the big companies aren't seeing that world where Wawa could pay someone like you to go say, like, do what's his name out in Vegas to say, I just bought the new Wawa pizza. We're gonna rate it 1 through 7, and then go through and you have 4 different items you already got from Wawa. You taste those first, blah blah blah. Last one at second 62 is the pizza. Video ends. People are gonna want to go get pizza because you said it was great.
Click the link at the end.
Not even click the link. Just go get your. People will do those things, and like they'll talk about a mom and pop in South Dakota,
And people will go there.
and people will flock to it. There's a guy in Vegas. I can't remember his name.
Wherever
People
the pizza
will
guy
fly
goes,
in.
Barstool president, wherever he goes.
Yeah, he's not the Barstool president anymore. El Presidente.
Oh, he's not?
Yeah, David Portnoy. He sold that.
Is he still Barstool Presidente?
I don't think so. I could be wrong. I don't think so.
See if he has a new name, I don't know.
I've seen him on some podcasts though, where he's talked about his favorite part being.
Yeah, wherever he goes, pizza. I'm like, oh, we're in Chicago. Where did he say go get your pizza at?
Yep.
So
And that type of content works, especially when it's in front of you. Like if you're running a company and you want to market like it's 2024, you get somebody to react and actually create content as
Around
if they are the ones unboxing it, as if they are the ones participating in the product or service. And if you do that and it's organic and legit enough, it comes off as passing content. And when you run it and promote it against the people who are more than likely to be emotionally impacted by it, well, now you've given them something that they're going to say either A, oh, Siri must be listening to me, or they're just going to engage in the content and not even realize it's a promotion.
do you think that influencer marketing will ever die?
No, I think we witnessed okay. So
think
let's
it's been at
break
its
down.
peak?
Let's break down what influencer marketing is.
For people who don't know.
Somebody who has obviously a grouping of people that they, by either action or word, can get a portion of that group to make a financial decision. That's largely what companies are looking for when they're looking for somebody who is going to partner with them on influencer marketing, right? It's been around for a while. It's just not been in the form of that person that can make me money for my company is a 17-year-old dude reviewing Legos in his mom's house.
Because we bought Jordans simply off of influencer marketing.
Of course. We've
Is
been
he the
lining up
biggest one?
MJ, which for sports, I think it's undebatable that Jordan
In
is.
anything. Is there a bigger
Yes.
influencer marketer than Michael Jordan?
Yeah, I mean, you look at people
Is
like Tim
Steve-
Cook with Apple,
No,
Steve
no, no,
Jobs.
no.
You look at
Steve-
Jeff
is
Bezos,
Steve
Elon Musk.
Jobs
Elon
an influencer?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
I'd have to argue. I'd have to argue with you.
Elon Musk can make a tweet and change the stock of a company.
Yes.
He is an influencer. And Jeff Bezos can make a decision saying, hey, I utilize this, like when I go to work, like I could say to Jeff Bezos, I have him on this podcast, hey, what multivitamin do you take in the morning? What gets your brain fired? Whatever he says,
Sure. You're correct.
thousands of sales.
I guess you're correct with that one. But I don't know.
He's also great at influencing his people within his company.
He's one of the best.
Yeah.
So
Well,
is
not
Bezos.
his, he's still-
So is Bezos.
All of them are.
They all are.
Yeah, love him or hate him.
Like Michael Jordan, I feel like is the biggest influencer there ever was. Ever.
I think Jesus could get in that category.
True.
I mean, Matt, there were conversation that's
Jesus and Beyonce.
Jesus, Beyonce, Michael Jordan. Well, it's crazy you say that because at the time that Michael did that, before social media, is something that needs to be looked at and factored in. Because I would say if you line up what LeBron's influence, impressions on people, I'd say it's more. I'd say he's impacted more people because he also does it in a lot of different ways. He's on movie sets, he's building schools, he's doing a
There are
lot.
two big sports guys. It's nice you brought up LeBron.
Yeah.
How do you feel about them this year?
I feel every morning I watch those like 10-minute summaries of NBA games because I just have a hard time.
YouTube?
Yeah, absolutely. I got the Office TV now. I'll sit and watch 3 games usually. I'll do my morning meditation journaling. I'll take 20, 30 minutes. I watch my Cavs. I watch what the Lakers did. And then I'll just watch a marquee matchup like the Spurs are playing the other day. Spurs played the Suns.
Yep.
Whew, that was a game. It
was.
What do you think about Wemby?
I think
I was talking to Sean about Wemby, explaining how
think
crazy he is.
He's the most outrageous talent in any professional sport.
You're here with the audacious takes. So big in all of history?
In all of history.
Bigger than Braun.
There is no talent.
There's nobody who had more pressure on them
If
than
you
Braun.
can watch what Wemby does, if he can actually stay healthy,
Sure.
there's nobody that's, as he gets better, it gets his foot more acclimated to the NBA game.
It seems like he made a giant jump just from preseason
Absolutely.
to the first 3 games.
There's no one in
Gigantically.
any sport that will have a bigger impact than Victor Wembanyama.
If he can stay healthy, that's fair.
If he can stay healthy. If he does.
There's a highlight clip I was watching too, and he's literally in one of these games from the 3-point line,
Blocking
catches it
shots.
off a fast break. We have blocking shots everywhere.
He jumped from called it from the 3-point line.
Caught it from 3-point line, 2 steps. Bop. Just like, dog, that's 23 and a half feet away.
He's the most outrageous talent in any professional sport.
But Kevin Durant showed that.
He's Kevin Durant.
I still think the top 5, the Giannis, the Brons, the Kevin Durants, the teams like the Warriors and the Suns will show that, you're still a rookie.
He still is.
You stay healthy for 3 years, though. Put on a little bit of muscle like Greek Freak did.
3 years. He doesn't even need to put muscle on. He just needs to stay healthy.
Yeah, but the muscle helps.
But it
Build
will
up
help.
those tendons and ligaments, get a little bit stronger.
But like
Because
him and Chet, whew,
Chet's great.
Chet is great too. I like Chet a little bit more than I like Victor, but
Where are you right now in forms of the GOAT debate? We'll finish out the sports section.
ooh,
Because you just said you think LeBron's or MJ's the greatest influence of all time.
absolutely.
Greatest basketball player of all time? Too?
No.
No? You give it to Bron?
I believe Bron is the best offensive player there ever was.
Okay.
Offensively. As you put offense in a hole, he's the best offensive player of all time.
You don't give him defensive?
Nah.
He has more blocks than Bron. Who do you have as your number 1 defensive player of all time?
I don't really have one. Because when you think defense, there's perimeter defense, there's interior defense, right? So there's off-ball defense, all that, right? So like
transition.
For me to say defense, it's rough. But chase down blocks is the greatest of all time at that.
Phew, he invented it pretty much.
He invented it pretty much.
Yeah.
But like perimeter defense, there's many greats. So like even in Bron's era, you had Tony Allen's, you had, there's so many
Great
perimeter
perimeter
defenders. Bruce Bowens. There's so many of those guys who were better than Bron on perimeter. Interior,
I think as it goes down, I think the way I have it right now is I kind of have it flip-flopped. Where Jordan, greatest offensive player to ever live.
Ooh.
Kobe, best scorer of all time.
Ooh.
And LeBron, best overall basketball player to put on a court. Because overall, he doesn't have a weakness. You could put him on the free throw line and say, he shoots 72%. Okay, cool. That's his weakness. He doesn't really have one. And especially this year, he's hitting this 3. The dude looks twitchy. Like he's got, like the man's been in the league for 21 years and he's moving.
Like LeBron's my GOAT.
I agree.
But
I agree.
Sometimes when you just look at people like Curry, how he can score.
He's on the Mount Rushmore.
It's-
He's on the Mount Rushmore of people who change. He is on the Mount Rushmore of people who change the game way more than Bron because people can be Curry. I will never be able to dunk on anybody. But I can launch it from 30 feet. I can see if it goes in. I can try to be Curry.
Curry is just he's just different.
I went to and we can wrap up with this, but I went to a basketball game. It was a pickup game actually, and so we had to sit and wait for this 12-year-old league. These little 12-year-old boys playing, and the amount of 3-pointers from 5 feet behind the line that were shot just in the 10 minutes I watched.
Every one of them.
I'm like, oh my gosh. Every single one of you wants to be Curry.
Everybody.
Every single one of you. And every single one of you can. Because he just hits everything.
It's Curry.
It's
Trae
attainable.
Young, it's
Dame Lillard.
Dame Lillard. It's James Harden. It's all of them.
He's a Clipper now, though.
Good for him.
Good for him. All right, man. We're going to do this again. Appreciate you.
Of course.
All right, man. Perfect. Awesome. Let's get sweaty.
It is hot.